Hello everyone, I hope you are wondering right now why that video started this session. Actually today we are going to talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning. So we'll see what artificial intelligence basically is. Now many of us would have heard the term artificial intelligence, machine learning in newspapers or news channels, or our peers or our seniors talking about it, but we might not have a very clear idea of what actually artificial intelligence and machine learning is. So what you just saw in the video was a very nice and innovative example of what you can do with artificial intelligence and machine learning. So the robot you just saw there that performed a stitching operation on that little grape right there inside the bottle is called the Da Vinci surgical robot, and it costs around somewhere around US $2 million. Now why is this robot so expensive, so highly priced? What is the fuss around it? So basically it uses artificial intelligence and machine learning to perform these minute detailed operations on human body. Now there's a lot of science, there's a lot of maths, there is a lot of things behind the creation of this robot, behind the software actually working that helps it do everything, and we'll slightly touch the surface of artificial intelligence and machine learning in today's session. So let me see who all have joined us today. Most of the session is, I'm taking up this session because in the last session that we had, the 6 important programming languages that you should learn in 2018, many of you asked me about what is the scope of artificial intelligence and machine learning in 2018. So in reference to that as well, we have this session today so that you have an understanding of what it holds, what it encapsulates, and then you can decide for yourself whether you want to go in the direction. I would personally say that whole of the industry is kind of moving towards automation, towards artificial intelligence, towards neuroscience, machine learning, etc. So it's a good starting point for you at this point of time to kind of have an understanding of what both these things are. So we'll take a look at that today. Hi Raju, good evening Sagar. Hi Balaji, hi Arshad. We have Aluri, Raju. Learn new things. I hope your question is answered. Learn new things. Hi Naveen. Technical Prakash, hello. And then who else we have? Ramlal, we have Gamer, we have Jay Singh. All right, cool. So let's quickly start off with today's session, artificial intelligence and machine learning. Now my very first question to you would be, what do you understand by intelligence, right? How do you define intelligence? Now if you have to say that someone is intelligent, what actually you are looking for? What is the parameter on which you judge whether someone is intelligent or not? So learn new things is asked, how much time does this live session will go on? I think I'll take about half an hour today because it's just an introduction of artificial learning and machine intelligence for you guys. Hi Ajay, hi Gokul. Hi Suresh, hi Ashish. All right, so quickly. Now this definition is what I have taken off of a book. I think I asked Ashokan to point me to this definition. The agency by which we perceive, understand, predict, manipulate the world around us, which is manifestly much larger than us. Now before I explain this definition to you, some of you have given me answers that intelligence is, Parisi says intelligence is about knowledge, Gokul says it is about the efficiency of your brain, then Rivan says it is the ability to learn from past mistakes. Okay, all right, so those are the definitions that we have. Now all that being said, what you guys have told me is correct, but if I have to like sum it up in a definition, then this is what I would go for. Intelligence is an agency by which you perceive things. You know, you realize that, you think, you perceive that, okay, this is right, this is wrong, this is how we should do things, etc. So all those perceiving capabilities, your understanding capabilities, your prediction capabilities, right? You have understood and learned something, and then your prediction capability to decide, okay, this should be done in the future or this should not be done in the future, right? Someone says, Nagalakshmi just said ability to acquire new knowledge, ability to acquire more knowledge. Ashish says thinking, processing, solving problems. All right, now all these things together comprise what we call as intelligence in reference to human. As if we talk about humans, one person is intelligent or other person is not so intelligent, or some of your friends might be way too intelligent. These are few of the parameters on which, you know, every human perceives and decides that, okay, this is the intelligence level and bar of different people. All right, now if that is intelligence for us humans, what do you think is artificial intelligence? What according to you is the meaning of artificial intelligence? So we had a very interesting name, Telugu smart YouTubers who have just commented and given us his name, Dilip Kumar. Hi Dilip. So Bhuvnesh is asking, hey ma'am, can you please tell us to start with machine learning starting kit and configuration? Bhuvnesh, towards the end of this session, I'll tell you two books, both for artificial intelligence and machine learning to refer to. So you guys can go ahead. They are like a good starter books for someone who wants to get an understanding of artificial intelligence or machine learning. So you guys can go ahead and skim through them. Gokul says effective use of resources available to us. That's artificial intelligence according to Gokul. Okay, Technical Prakash has asked me a very serious question, I think, that says that is it necessary to have brain to be intelligent, to have intelligence, I think you meant. Ashi says artificial intelligence is machines solving real world problems. Hi Naveen, hi Sharif. Made up by humans which give minor inaccuracy. That is Sanjeev, and he rectified it to major accuracy. Rivant has given a very technical definition. Artificial intelligence is like a humanoid stimulated by means of codings. Okay, Google says intelligence created for automatically doing things without humans. All right, on that note, on the intelligence created for automatically doing things without humans and stimulation by the means of coding, this is what we call artificial intelligence. Simply the discipline that attempts to build entities that do all of the above. And by all of the above, I mean that do all of this, that help you perceive, that help you understand, that help the machine predict, that help the machine manipulate the world around them. So any discipline, and the computer science discipline, that attempts to build entities that do all of this, that perceive thing, that manipulate or that predict thing. All right, all those things that humans do as intelligent behavior, that when done by machine is known as artificial intelligence. When a machine has built all those entities that do all of that, it is known as artificial intelligence. Mahmood rightly put it, maybe computer systems can learn and do things. That's pretty correct. When computer systems are able to perceive things, they are able to project things, they are able to predict things in the future based on their learning, that is what we call as artificial intelligence. Now artificial intelligence is kind of built on all of these that you see here. It uses philosophy, it uses mathematics, economics, neuroscience, psychology, computer engineering, control theory, linguistics. Alright, now you all might be wondering, to make a program or to make a, let's say, software, let's say we have to make a bot, which essentially would be a computer software, right, that would do all these things, that would perceive, that would predict. Basically a bot that would be intelligent, right? We are building a software that would be intelligent. Now to build this software that would be intelligent, all we need to do is write some code. Simply put, in programming language terms or coders, programmers terms, all you have to do is write some code, right? So what is the use of all these things that you see here? Very simply put, artificial intelligence is not an entity of its own. You need to have an understanding of or a knowledge of all of these things that is written down here to be able to write this code that works as intelligent code. Correct? Of course, computer engineering we already explained, so I won't talk much about it. Philosophy we need because we need to decide where does knowledge come from. Right? If you don't have any idea of that, how will you be able to decide what to do with the knowledge that you have? Correct? So we need philosophy, we need maths to derive rules and conclusions based on the data that we have at hand. Right? You have some data, you want some results out of it or some conclusions out of it. That's where maths come into picture. Then economics to decide which result set gives you the maximum payoff. Neuroscience helps us to understand how humans process information. Correct? That is what neuroscience does. It lets you understand how humans process information. Now once you know how humans process information, that is essentially telling you how humans become intelligent, you can use the same procedures and fundas added to your software to make it as intelligent as a human or more intelligent than a human, right? So you need to be aware of how humans think, how humans process information, how humans perceive things around them. That is when you can add it onto your code to make an intelligent software. Similarly, psychology for cognitive abilities, and then control theory, behavior, minimization of error, etc. And then finally we have linguistics. So looks very simple that you have a software that is designed from few lines of code, or let's say thousands of lines of code. So this is essentially what is our artificial intelligent system, right? But this makes use of all these, this big list that you see. Now to understand artificial intelligence, you don't have to deep dive into all of these components. You just have to have an understanding of how philosophy adds up to artificial intelligence, or what kind of maths is important to be able to code artificial intelligence systems. All right, moving up next, let's talk about a little history of artificial intelligence. So the pioneer, as we call, of artificial intelligence is Alan Turing. Right? Now, Alan Turing was the first person when no one thought of artificial intelligence systems or machines that can learn on their own, he was the person who predicted, or who was working on actually to prove this, that yeah, machine can learn on their own before everything even started. And then later down the line, there was a slowdown in this artificial intelligence stream. John McCarthy coined the term artificial intelligence, I think in around 1956, if I'm not wrong. But because of the lack of knowledge and expertise in the systems to work on artificial intelligence, there was a slowdown in this field around the 79s. But then again, big data came in 2001, right? And with the advent of big data, we had all this ginormous information accessible to us to work on. So everyone was working on big data. There's too much data on Google, on Facebook, or let's say if we talk about companies like let's say Oracle work on databases. They have humongous amount of data to work on. Or let's say Instagram, they have thousands and thousands of accounts created on them, and they have all that data with them to see what the trends are, what is going to be, to predict what's going to be the future trend, what is going to be the next top hashtag for Instagram, right? With all this data available with us, experts had the ability to work on this data to build off their artificially intelligent systems off of this data at hand. Now they feed all this data to the computer systems, so that the more data that the computer system has, the more easy it is for him to learn, right? So let's say you have lots and lots of sheets of handwritten numbers or handwritten letters. So the more handwritten such letters you feed into computer systems, the more easy it is for them to figure out what particular letter are you writing. Correct? Let's say if we show you a few different code snippets. So the more code snippets you see, actually, the more easier it will be for you to figure out what actually the code is doing. And similarly for machines, the more data that is fed into them, the more easier and faster it is for them to learn artificially. Correct? So with the advent of big data, the artificial intelligence again came into big picture. All right. Now, what is Turing test? If anybody of you knows what a Turing test is. Bhuvnesh has said that, is there any risk to invent a self-learning AI in future? Bhuvnesh, self-learning AIs are not in the future. They have already been invented and they are already around us working. A few examples of which I'll give you later in this session. The artificial intelligence systems that are already learning on their own and that are already ahead of humans in what they do. Gokul says artificial intelligence may create people having no common sense, will make us robots, I fear. Gokul, I think you tried to make some point, but I lost your sentence somewhere. So if you can please comment that again. Okay, very interesting statement has come from Gokul, saying that nothing can be more intelligent than humans. Well, that could have been true like a century ago, but now not so much. Learn new things, that is the leap, if I am not wrong, says Facebook chatbots. Yeah, all the chatbots are artificially intelligent. Okay, Bhuvnesh is also saying, I recently read somewhere that Facebook programmers stopped their AI program when their AI started to communicate in their own created language. Well, that is an interesting article to read, which I have not yet been through. big data, yes, is analysis of data, and based on the analysis of data you derive some inferences, you derive some information, you derive some facts. But then again, when all that data is available to the computers, it makes learning faster. Say if you feed a program with let's say 2 images and ask a computer program to differentiate between a cat and a dog, correct, and later down the line you gave him some other breed of cat or other breed of dog which is way different from the one picture that we have fed in the computer before, so the artificial intelligence bot will fail because it only had one image, so it will judge based on that one image. Now if at the same time, now that we have big data and we have so many images of dogs out on the internet, if we feed all of that into the machine, right, then it will be very easy for the bot to tell, okay, this is what a dog is, differentiate cats from dogs. So Dilip, I just answered your question, difference between big data and AI. Jackson is asking, future AI has a chance to bloom or not? Jackson, AI is here right now and it's already blooming, and it is expected to bloom a lot more in the coming years. See, like we saw in the video that just played before the session, where the bot, that was artificial intelligence, was performing on that grape, right? That was a nice touch by Rohit Agarwal added onto this session that will help you understand. So bots like that, which are artificial intelligent, that are actually there to help humans, or like a bot like that was a surgical bot, will help doctors perform surgeries with way more accuracy than they actually will perform with their bare hands on you, right? A bot would be much stable, much stabilized, and the accuracy with which it will do will highly increase. So that is nothing to fear of. They are like artificially intelligent systems that are there to help us, help humans grow more. AI ML has neural networks, Shubham is asking. Yes, it pretty much deals with aspects of neural network. Alright, coming back to Turing test. So Turing test is a test which was designed to check if your computer software is smart enough to behave as a human. So there used to be a wall behind which there is a computer system and there is a human, right? And at the other end we had a human sitting. Now this human would be interacting with this bot. If it figures out that the machine right here is a bot, then that means it is not intelligent enough. But if this person is not able to differentiate whether behind the wall there's a bot or there's a human, that is where a software or a machine qualifies as an intelligent machine, because it could confuse the human sitting behind the wall that he's interacting with a machine or he's interacting with a human. Now that is the test for a software to be intelligent. Similarly, we have reverse Turing test. Anybody who knows any examples of reverse Turing test or knows where reverse Turing test is used? Dilip says the AI which is being implemented now is at the basic stage. Dilip, the AI being implemented by is being implemented by many giant companies, and it definitely is not at the basic stages, like Google being one of the big AI research giants. Techno Geeks is asking if I want to ask if AI will be there at its extent, then there will be more number of job cuts. Of course, there will be more number of job cuts, let's say at the preliminary levels, but then there will be at the same time requirement for people who can work on AI or who can work on machine learning. So if in certain categories there will be a cut in job, there definitely would be certain categories where this job demand will increase. It's all about you guys should be able to prepare yourself for that market that is going to grow well in advance. Okay, Telugu Smart YouTubers is asking which language is used to program AI. You can use Python to program AI, which comes with several libraries like scikit-learn or matplotlib, etc. to help you work with AI, but at the same time there are languages like R which are complete in themselves, which help you work on AI. C program, nope. Monica says machine. Okay, Monica I think has responded to this reverse Turing test. Says machine which is capable of learning like a human. Okay, how many of you have heard of CAPTCHA or seen CAPTCHA on some websites? So when the website has to test whether it is interacting with a human or not, or is it a software like Indian Railways, if you guys have booked ticket on the Railways site, there is a CAPTCHA there which you have to fill in for the software to test whether a human is booking a ticket or a machine is booking a ticket, right? So reverse Turing test, like Turing test whether a machine is able to behave as good as human. Reverse Turing test whether someone who is typing in here is a human or not. So this is basically a test for human. Now, for those of you who don't know what CAPTCHA is, it is a completely automated public Turing test to tell computers and humans apart. So if it is a computer, and I think at this point of time there are bots again to who can decode the CAPTCHA thing, but when it was created with an attempt that only a human will be able to fill this. Kill CAPTCHA. And if it's a machine, it will not be able to capture this, and that is how the website or the software distinguishes between a human and a bot. All right, cool. Up next, someone already asked me for a book on artificial intelligence. This is one that is called Artificial Intelligence, A Modern Approach by Stuart J. Russell and Peter Norbeck. Now this gives a very fundamental clarity in artificial intelligence for all of you who are starting afresh into artificial intelligence, and at the same time it covers broadly the entire spectrum of artificial intelligence. Now if you have to dig deep into any one of the artificial intelligence spectrum, you might have to go ahead and get another book to do some research or some online resources. But if testing the water is your idea, this is a pretty basic book that tells you almost everything broadly that is there to know about artificial intelligence. All right, Roy pinged that, can you answer me? I have a question. Just ping your question, Roy. I'll definitely try to answer that for you. Okay, moving on to machine learning. Nayak just asked about it, but before that I want to show you what is there, because you guys most of you are commenting here saying that artificial intelligence is in the future, there aren't very smart enough systems as of now. So I want to tell you what do we have that is artificially intelligent around us as of now. So these are the few things that I have jotted down here, and there are many more. There are services like Waymo, Uber that use artificial intelligence to get your cabs to your doorsteps. That is an artificially intelligent work. That is not just any software running on your app. Again, we have speech recognition systems like Siri and Google Assistant that again are artificial intelligent systems. So you talk to them, you can communicate with them, you can tell them what to do on your behalf, you can tell them to drop a mail on your behalf or call some person on your behalf, and it actually feels like you are communicating to a person, not to a software. Then there are games like Dr. Watson and AlphaGo. Now AlphaGo, the frame that you see right here on the screen, is a Chinese game which now there are artificial machines in artificial intelligent bots or softwares that can play this game better than any human can. So this game has champions like chess champions. This AlphaGo game again has champions, and any artificially intelligent bot was not able to defeat the AlphaGo champion for many years. But recently that has also changed. There are now artificial intelligent bots which have defeated the champions of this game. Then again, translation, if we talk about Google Translator is again an artificially intelligent system that takes use of thousands and thousands of documents out there on Google and makes use of it to very accurately translate your data from one language to any other language. Alright, now next up, let's talk about machine learning. Any ideas on what machine learning is? There were very few nice responses to what artificial intelligence is. What is machine learning? So TechnoGeeks has asked differentiate between machine and deep learning, to which Ashokan has already responded. The deep learning involves using very large neural networks. So it's kind of a specialized branch of machine learning. Machine learning deals with neural networks at a very abstract level, but when you go deep down with many neural networks, then you are talking about deep learning. Which engineering branch does artificial intelligence comes under? Is it CSE or ECE or both? I would say it, I guess, primarily comes under CSE, but there is no branch specifically where it caps under. Saurabh says, I know of C++, Python, Java. Can I read that book? Saurabh, of course, if you have any prior programming knowledge, you can very well go ahead and start reading that book. Okay, so for ML, Achal says learning from past experiences is machine learning. Human responding to computer to feed the data. Okay. Alright, so machine learning is a way a program figures out something interesting about a set of data points without you writing custom code for that purpose. So what machine learning is, let's say you have a set of code, some 1,000 lines of code that work for your software, correct? Now machine learning is where this program that you have written figures out something interesting. You feed in a set of data points to your program, and then your program automatically, without any assistance and help from you, the software should automatically be able to figure out some interesting information out of the data points that you have fed into this software, right? That is machine learning, when the machine learns automatically and gives you interesting information out of the data you feed into it. Correct? So for example, we have this very interesting example here. Let's say you have sheets and sheets of handwritten numbers. Like say this comprises one sheet that has 6 handwritten numbers into it, 671584. Now you write a machine learning algorithm that should be able to tell you which letter is what. Now remember, this is complicated because many people write these same letters 1 to 9, 0 to 9 in several different ways. So some may write one like this, some may write one like this, some could go like this, some may write one like this. Now your machine should be able to identify all of this and should be able to tell you that, okay boss, this is 1. Or if you are writing 8, if you say this, if you say this, any form and shape of 8, the machine software that you're working on should be able to tell you, okay, all this that you have written is 8. Now this ability of your program, your machine learning algorithm, to tell what is what based on the data that you feed this data, and after this data it should be able to tell you, okay, what letters are there in this sheet. That is a classic example of machine learning algorithm. All right, next up, another very interesting example, like the Go game that I think I told you is Chinese. Somewhere Ashokan mentioned it's Japanese. So like that Go game, this was the very first artificial intelligence system playing a chess game, the Deep Blue versus Garry Kasparov. Now Deep Blue is a software. You see this computer right here, that is running your software that is telling this person sitting here which next move to play against this man. Now this is Garry Kasparov, who was the current chess champion in 1997. So this software played against the chess champion Garry Kasparov and it beat it. Now all the person, you see this person sitting right here, all he is doing is taking the moves that the software is giving out and playing them on the board, right? So this is another classic example where an artificially intelligent system beat a human in a chess game. Now like I talked about artificial intelligence, the book, AI book, there is this book on machine learning called Introduction to Machine Learning with Python by Andrea C. Muller and Sarah Guido. Now this book again will teach you step by step the basic essentials to create a successful machine learning application using Python and the scikit-learn library. Now the scikit-learn library is again in Python only, which is essential for scientific computation. So this book, from the very basic introductory point of view, talks about Python, talks about machine learning, and talks about the libraries in Python that are involved as part of machine learning. So very basic step-by-step process to create a simple machine learning application. All right, so that was it about an introduction to artificial and machine learning, guys. I hope many of your doubts are clarified through this session. I still see a few of you have posted some queries. But how the Google Translator uses the very good synonyms of the words which we use very commonly in day-to-day lives. That is where whatever we post on, let's say you are using Twitter, correct, or you are using the Google blogs or Wikipedias, etc. Those commonly used synonyms, you post them somewhere. You post it on Facebook, you post it on let's say Twitter. All these things are public. Now Google is using all these things every day as part of its machine learning data. All this is fed into its machine learning algorithms, and based on that it is able to capture all those synonyms that are recently used or in day-to-day lingo used by people like you and me, or some other language, be it Russian, Chinese, etc. So someone somewhere has already used it, and it is already available as data to all those machine learning bots, based on which they tell us, okay, this is translated to this in whatever language. All right, what next do we have? Which is Achal is asking, which is best, TensorFlow or Scikit? Achal, if you are a beginner, you are starting to get your hands dirty with artificial intelligence and machine learning, I would say you go ahead with Scikit, and then later on, if you are deep diving into this field, you can maybe go to TensorFlow. It's very easy to transfer yourself from Scikit to TensorFlow. There's not much of a difference there. Once you learn Scikit, you can very easily move to TensorFlow down the line. But I think if you are right now starting, I would recommend start off with Python and start off with Scikit instead of TensorFlow. And on that note, starting off with Python, we are, like I promised you guys before, we are going to start Python series on our channel. I'm just checking the date from which we are going to start it. So today is Monday 13th. Friday 17th we are going to have a session at the same time, 6 to 7, where I'll tell you how to install Python on your machines. We are going to be using Jupyter notebooks to work with Python. So all the install, the setup, etc. We'll talk about how to install and get our machines ready, whatever machines you are using, Windows, Linux, Mac, live on a session on 17th, 6 to 7. So we do all that setup, and from Monday onwards, that is 20th of November, every Monday 6 to 7 we'll have a live session on Python. So we'll start off with the very basics of how to write code in Python, what variables, data types, numbers, operators are, how loops are written in Python, and then we'll move to topics that are exclusive to Python like list, dictionaries, tuples, etc. So every Monday from next Monday onwards, we are going to have the 6 to 7 live session where we'll talk about how to code in Python, since this was one of the most requested videos from you guys, Python language, on Python language. So we are going to start off with the series from Monday, and Friday will be a basic introductory session to Python where we'll just install Python on our machines, install Jupyter notebooks on our machine, and get our systems ready to work with Python on from Monday. All right, anything else you guys have? Okay, Achal, your question is answered by Ashokan as well. Scikit is easier to get started. Once you get some confidence, you can try the other libraries. Alright guys, that's it from me for today's session. I'll see you Friday again at 6 p.m. and we'll do some installations and downloads and set up our systems to learn Python. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a good day.